Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out the GitGud Course. Instead of just understanding concepts, you'll learn how to implement them directly into your driving. What makes it effective is the approach and practical drills. Together, we're gonna focus on breaking down those complex concepts into small digestible bits that are simple to understand. Everything from the course was tested and refined during the years in coaching sessions, so what I ended up with was the ones that I saw were the most effective. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Hello everyone, if you like my style, if you like my videos, if you want to see more of it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. This will help me a lot to grow the channel. Now, going into the track guide, what I'm using as a reference for braking for turn 1 is the 50-meter board, and more importantly this white line, because it's a lot easier to see. I won't brake at the white line, but I will brake slightly before it. If you want a more precise braking point, I would say it would be the middle before the white line from the 100-meter board and the white line from the 50. So almost in the middle, like right now, I'm applying the brakes. I'm definitely looking at the white line from the 50 as a reference, more or less, but it's almost in between the 50 and 100. Now, braking into this corner, it's important to take a late apex. If you're gonna turn early into the corner, for example, if at this point you will start turning while braking, you will run wider on the exit. You want to delay your turning point, so it's almost like you're braking on a straight line for a blink of an eye, then turn. This is exactly what happens if you notice here. So the peak pressure, whenever I had the peak pressure, my steering wheel was still at 0 degrees. But whenever I started to bleed off the pressures, then I'm starting to turn. That's important. You want to get very close to this yellow sausage curve. And the moment that you're at the yellow sausage curve, you're gonna go on power. I took a bit of an earlier apex here and I had a bit more speed, so I had to do this lift and then back off just to avoid getting the off track. The off track limit is having the right tires on the white line. If you go more on the left, then it's gonna be an off track. The next corner is flat, but super important to be close to the yellow sausage curve like this. If you will be just an inch to the left, you will lose a bit of lap time. Now here, my reference for braking is the moment that I straighten up the car. Like right now, the steering wheel is not perfectly straight, but right now, if you see it, I have almost 0 degrees steering angle. It's almost like 5 degrees to the right, but it's close to 0. That's the point. That's the point in which you want to apply the brakes. Whenever you have the steering wheel straight, because this is going to be the moment in which you're going to be most efficient under braking. Braking into this corner, you really want to go into second gear, and I'm using the fixer up for this track, just so you know. Going into second gear, the moment that you're going to touch this curb, that's where I want to be back on power. So you see it's a bit of gap in between brake and throttle, not ideal. So you see I'm losing a bit of lap time here in this part on the exit. That's because I was a bit too late on power, so be careful with that. Now for this corner, you want to bring the car to the center of the track and then turn. Don't bring it all the way to the right, because you will cover longer distance and it's not needed, but you want to be in the center. If you will be all the way in the left, then you will lose on the straight after this corner. It's key here to cut like this, near the grass. It's gonna be super important to do it like this and keep it flat. The car will be a bit oversteery from the rears, that's normal, but you want to manage that. If it's too much, the point that the car is sliding on this exit, almost drifting, then you're losing time. You don't want to do that. Now, going into the downhill braking zone, what I'm using here as a reference for braking is this green AstroTurf on the right side. You see, this green part will end around here. The moment that I don't see it anymore, I just stay like, in my mind, it's like a blink of an eye more, and then I'm applying the brakes. So I'm braking in between the end of the green and this darker black part on the right side of the tarmac. Somewhere around in between I'm braking, but I'm using the green part as a reference for when I brake. So whenever I will go a bit more downhill, like right now, after the green part is finished, then I'm on the brakes. In this corner, you really want to brake hard here. It's a downhill braking zone. Brake hard and try to keep the steering wheel as straight as possible. Don't turn early into the corner, because you will probably lock up the tires and you will have a bad exit. It's really important to maximize the braking. So brake hard, brake late, but at the same time turn later so that you will be with the steering wheel straight. The more time you're spending with the steering wheel straight, the more efficient under braking, because you're gonna use all that grip just for the braking itself. Now, the moment that I turn into this corner, it's super late. See, at this point I'm still going straight, and now I'm turning very late into the corner. Look at this distance. This is the distance that you want to be in before turning, and then whenever you turn, notice how late this apex is, very close to this yellow sausage curb, almost touching it. And the moment that you're getting the compression on the left curb, then you're gonna put the power down like that, and you can use this space without getting an off track, so that's perfectly fine. Now going into the next corner, this corner is just a lift. So around here, I'm gonna turn at the white line, like right now on the left. I'm turning into this corner. Whenever I'm getting closer to the corner, I'm doing a lift, like now. Don't lift it to 0. Try to lift it even smaller lift than what I did. If you can manage to do it to 30%, that's gonna be a lot better. And again, putting the power down. Here you're gonna be needed to be super early on the brakes here. So I'm using as a reference for braking this white line. And even though it's not ideal because the car is not straight, it's still better than just waiting a bit more, because there's a big chance that you're gonna lock up the tires. Now, obviously, if you're carrying a bit less speed from the previous corner, you can push the braking point a bit more forward, but generally, the white line on the left is gonna be a good indicator for braking. Braking into this corner, notice that immediately I steer to the left, so that right now I'm doing my straight line braking. So even though I touch the brakes initially with steering angle on the right side, I immediately know that I have to brake straight as much as I can. So I'm doing this correction with the steering wheel. And now while going into this corner, I really want to apex late at the yellow sausage curb like this. And it's important to be here on the exit. See, very close to the gravel on the left, using all the green AstroTurf. I mean, not exactly all, because it's gonna be an off track if you go just a bit more on the left. But if you're not using this part of the track, you're losing big time. Now for the next corner, like right now, you don't have to go all the way to the right side to open up. You're driving a Formula car. This has a lot of downforce. So you will travel a shorter distance if you stay on the left like this and cut the curb to the grass like that. It's gonna be quicker. It's gonna be 0.003, 004 quicker, but it's free lap time that you can gain. Now for this corner right here, this is a bit trickier. I'm pointing the car in front of me like this, and I want to apply the brakes the moment that I'm past the crest. So I'm not braking at the crest, but whenever I'm past it, I'm applying the brakes. And you want to brake soft here. So 30%, downshifting to third, and now cutting like this. I think I could have braked even softer than this. So I think a good percentages for braking would be around 25. Even if you brake late, 25 I think is going to be good, because you're going to carry more speed. In terms of the approach, you want to bring the car to the left and then cut to this apex on the right. Really important here to use this part of the track. Again, you want to start with the exit in mind, and you want to use this. For the next corner, I'm cutting this curb to travel a shorter distance, and for braking, I'm using this white line around here. At the white line, or slightly before it, I'm applying the brakes, braking in a straight line, in third gear, then turning, apexing around the yellow sausage curb again, putting the power immediately where I'm at the yellow sausage curb. So notice that I'm already on power here, and you want to touch this part of the curb here. You want to push the car all the way to the right side, carrying a lot of speed, because you have plenty of time to reposition for the next corner. So there's no actual gain if you're not using this part of the track, because the positioning is already easy. Instantly bringing the car to the left. You don't want to lose time though, so if you will be a bit lazy in between those two corners, you might not be able to reach this left part of the track. And in terms of turning point, I'm using the beginning of the red here. You see the grass, and at the beginning of the red, I'm applying the brakes. I'm downshifting to third, and I'm braking in 2%. 2%, 3%, and now back on power. So this is gonna be a bit difficult for the vast majority of drivers to do it, because the car is very sketchy. I even spun here a few times. What I would recommend, if you find yourself spinning in lower percentages, is to brake just a bit higher. So braking to 8%, 10% initially, go to 15%, so brake double, and don't use a lot of steering angle because the car will spin. This will make the corner a bit more stable if you're having difficulties with stability, but also what you can do, you can push a bit the brake bias toward the front tires, so that can help it as well in this corner. Now here you will be flat on the exit, but super important tip, this corner is a flat out corner, but you can lose 1/10 if you do one small mistake. You have to turn early for this corner. So you really want here, whenever you have this crest around here, you want to cut it to the red like this, almost to the yellow. So you want to be very tight initially whenever you're going on the crest, because then whenever the car goes downwards, you will have a bit more grip and you will still tight. This curve will almost pull you to the right, and look at how tight this line is without using a lot of steering angle. That's 1/10 in there. By the end of the straight, you will gain 1/10 by just turning a bit earlier into that corner and staying close to the red and white curb. But in short, that's a track guide of Portimao with F4. This is the last track guide of the season. I hope you enjoyed my track guides. I just released my course, so if you really want to put the pieces together and if you want to improve a lot more, then feel free to check that out. I wish you good luck this week. I hope you have some nice races, and I'll see you next season with hopefully new track guides. Bye bye.